I hate to say it, but we've been flat out duped as to the deep inside KO. We've been using it all wrong. In fact, we shouldn't be using it at all. Let's get into it. What is up, guys? Zan from the Madden YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about why the knockout abilities for the deep zones are a lot different than what a lot of players thought early on in the year. Now, something that seems so surface level obvious is that when you go into the X Factor database, you should really click onto the players and read the more in-depth version of their ability breakdowns. If you just kind of look at the list of the abilities that they have, it'll tell you kind of at a glance acrobat, deep in KO, maybe something else like a short route KO, but it doesn't really elaborate on exactly what those abilities are. Now, if you guys are like me, you probably spent a decent amount of time looking into KO abilities for your favorite zone coverage, whether that be a cover 2 or a cover 3. In particular, when you're talking about a player playing the deep middle of the field, you would think that the deep in KO would be the right ability that you want to use for your zone. But you would actually be wrong, because if you take a look at the description of the ability, you'll notice that the deep in KO basically doesn't do what it says it does. And that the deep out KO actually covers more field. You'll notice that it says outside the hash marks. So I don't know if this was a coding issue for EA or some sort of bug that has been put in the game, but truly the deep out zone KO covers more field for knockout range than the deep in KO in terms of the description. So in today's test, what I'm going to show you is I've got Jordan Poyer and I've got Jesse Bates. Poyer has the deep out KO, which is designed to be outside, throws. Those are going to be your deep halves, your outside thirds. Traditionally, you would think those are players that are going to be playing, deep outside areas of the field. But you're going to notice that when we put him in a middle third, that because of the all-encompassing area that basically just doesn't apply to inside the hash marks, the deep in KO is the best zone to use, or the best knockout to use for the middle third, not the deep in. So let's go ahead and kind of break this down against a couple metas. Actually, let's just go to PA boot over, because that's what everybody's concerned with anyways, right? So what we're going to do here is we are going to take a situation where we put our deep in KO to start, Jesse Bates. And we're just going to play a Tampa 2, but rather than a mid-read zone, we're going to tell Jesse Bates, hey, I want you to play the middle third. So you're just going to drop deep in between the safeties and cover that void. I am going to prevent the pass rush from shedding here. And what you're going to find with Bates is that if he makes contact with this post, there is a very, very high likelihood that if the post has good body positioning, it will still hold on to the football in spite of the deep in KO being active on this player. Now, I do want to preface this by saying that you will sometimes get drops. That doesn't necessarily mean that the ability caused the drop. Players will sometimes just drop the ball even if there isn't a knockout and they're contacted. That base level dice roll still exists. And I can tell you, as somebody that has used a deep in KO at this spot, it is super, super Jekyll and Hyde. Sometimes it works for you and other times it doesn't. But what we're going to do is we're just going to run through some reps here and kind of explain to you how this works. And you're going to see here that we throw this ball. But what we're going to do is work through some reps here and just kind of try to show, the consistency, or the lack thereof, rather, of the deep in KO. So you're seeing here that I'm launching this. Obviously, that is something that I tried to run into that player and get him, hit on that throw. Struggling a little bit. We'll kind of work through this just a little bit, give a lot of reps to kind of see consistently. I'll even try to throw this ball in an area where maybe, just maybe, we can get contacted. And you see right there, we're actually pulling that player away. So let's go ahead and ditch the pull route. I just want to blatantly throw this post. So I want this to basically be guarded by Bates and be close enough where he can initiate some contact on this. So we'll go ahead and run a wheel, just kind of pull down the half over there. And I'm going to try to throw this ball so Bates does hit him. And we'll kind of see what I'm talking about right here. So you're going to see right here that I basically was able to conservative catch that, and Bates didn't knock it out. And that throw was certainly inside the numbers with his deep in zone KO. If I were a defensive player and I had that ability there and I got this result, I would basically be furious with this because one, I mean, 2 people hit him for one, and one of those 2 people had the zone KO that was designed to make him drop the ball in that area of the field. And this is what I'm getting at, is that you're going to get really, really inconsistent results out of the deep end KO, even though it says it's in between the numbers, which is basically what you see on the field, the numbers from the left set of numbers to the right set of numbers. Anything 20 plus yards downfield in that area between the numbers should be knocked out. And that includes in between the hashes. But the truth is, it just doesn't work consistently. Now what we're going to do is we are going to sub in our deep out KO. So I'm going to put Jesse Bates, or rather Jordan Poyer, in, and he has that deep out KO. Now, again, you read that description, it goes into more detail. It says outside the hash marks, not the numbers, the hash marks on this play. So we're going to run the exact same thing here, and I'm just going to try to throw up some posts into this traffic, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. So again, here, let's just kind of work this post against this player. And again, when you kind of look at the hash marks, that's a very, very slender sliver of field. I mean, we're talking from here to here and 20 plus yards downfield. So that means that anything inside the numbers from here to the goal line, so what that means is that anything inside the numbers from right here, this 40. So what that means is anything inside these hash marks from where I'm standing at the 40-yard line with Poyer all the way back to the end zone is the area where he can effectively get consistent knockouts. That is such a narrow area of field. It's not worth doing if that player were to have deep in KO. But outside the hash marks, you've got essentially here to the sideline and then back to the goal line on both sides. So if you talk about a middle third with some range here, you're talking about basically as long as the ball doesn't land in between the hash marks all the way down the field, you're getting a knockout or a very, very high likelihood of a knockout on these throws. So I'm going to take some throws here and just try to, initiate some contact, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to launch this sucker all the way out here, and you're going to see there that his ability did activate. He got a whiff animation, but had that been, like a play receiver situation where, he could initiate some contact, that actually will end up getting you paid out the majority of the time. Let me go ahead and throw a few more. One thing you guys might do if you guys are heavy on the knockouts is maybe press A. That is the play receiver, where they're essentially going to let them catch it and then they will hit them. So they're not really trying to swat. They're not trying to play an interception. They're playing the receiver's body. And that can actually lead to a better knockout rate, just for those that might want to use this. If you guys aren't aware of how to use that, you actually can use your coach setting. So you can either press the button on the field or you can set your coach settings, and I'll show that to you momentarily. But again, let's run this. I'm going to throw this post and see what type of results we can get here. So, and again, I'm just going to hit play receiver. And right there, you saw that he actually held onto it. And sometimes that will happen. Keep in mind that Godwin also has Slot-O-Matic. So a lot of times you're going to end up with situations where catch abilities, Slot-O-Matic, or maybe a deep out elite can kind of neutralize that knockout chance. So keep that in mind. So like I mentioned here with this, we want to go back to the coaching adjustments. If you want to just predetermine all your players on the field to make their knockout chance, go to play receiver. And when they do the play receiver, they're going to take a pursuit angle that's going to make it so that way they wrap up the receiver as they catch the football, rather than trying to make a swat and whiffing, or trying to play an interception and getting it out of reach. Sometimes that's the best way to go against some of this spam. Now, again, we did have that catchability that was part of the Slot-O-Matic on Godwin. Let's go ahead and use a regular receiver here, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to put in here on this side, I'm just going to put in Perriman. Yes, I know that he's got worse catch ratings. For those of you that are like, well, yeah, his catch rating is, 70 something. Obviously, I'm just trying to show you the consistency of this particular ability. Now, again, Jimmy did put in at the beginning of the video on my intro talking about how the abilities, you have to look at the description. You guys saw the comparison of Poyer and Bates early on to kind of give you extra clips to look at. But again, here with this, I'm going to throw this post, and we're going to just try to let X, and you're going to see here that I've got a play receiver set up, and he causes that knockout because we've told him to do that. Again, you can press A to be able to do that. So you see the difference between Godwin and Perriman. It's the exact same throw, caught in the exact same position with the exact same body relativity, but the catchability is all that saved Godwin in the previous example, whereas in this example, when there's no catchability, you get the deep out KO to work because, again, that catch is not made in between the numbers. So again, if you're playing against one of these, this is actually really, really hard to do, but if you can kind of time your throws up so they actually do catch the ball in between the hash marks, that will actually neutralize the knockout. Again, very, very hard to do, but something that you could potentially do. So you see right here, maybe if I could just lead him like right here, if I were to make a catch in that area of the field, he actually won't get a bonus for that. I'll try that again here since I threw an inaccurate. But again, you know, just to me, doesn't really, it's not worth it. It's not worth it to have a deep in KO unless it's like free. You know, if it's a 0 AP discount, sure, throw it on there. It'll help you out a little bit. But, you know, again here, I'm just going to try to, you know, catch this. And even right there, you see the guy wasn't close enough to make a play anyways. But again, such a narrow area of the field. Wanted to make you guys aware of this. So if you guys are big on putting knockouts on your middle third player, use the deep out, not the deep in. The deep in's trash. It's just not enough area field to warrant the AP expenditure. I hope you guys liked today's video. I know it's kind of hard to prove a lot of those things, but again, I have switched and my middle third player has had deep out KO and I'm playing the best defense I've played all year long. I hope you guys will try it and hopefully it has similar success for you guys as well. If you guys liked the video, make sure you guys give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you guys check in. We upload Monday through Friday in the late morning to early afternoon, and we'll see you guys with our next video upload. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.